what a festive event. I must say, I'm tickled pink already. And when I think about Christmas, the things that come to mind for me are family, friends, festivities, and food. Now, I know we've all got our favorites of those, but for me, the one I look forward to the most every year is the food. There is something about festive flavors that I just love. And everyone's got their different favorites, I know, but for me, mince pies, fruitcakes, marzipan, and the favorite of favorites, quality street. Anyone who's from South Africa or England will know what I'm talking about. When that purple bag comes out, you know Christmas is here, and the family feud begins as to who is going to get their favorite chocolate flavors. And always, you are somehow left with those dreaded strawberry cups and orange creams. I don't know what your least favorites are, but those for me were my worst. But the one flavor that I never experienced growing up at our Christmas traditions was turkey. Our family moved from Zimbabwe to South Africa in the early 80s, and times were tough. Money was tight. And so our Christmases were really simple. My parents would splash out on some mince pies and a small cake and a little bag of quality streets. But when it came to things like turkey and a gammon, we had to hold back. The year I turned 14, I will never forget, halfway through December, my dad burst into the house and said, this year we are having turkey. His eyes were ablaze with excitement. All of us couldn't believe that we were finally going to have a turkey. And Dad made it very clear that he was in charge of cooking and preparing and serving the turkey. He took his job so seriously that he even got out a measuring tape to check the size of the oven. Now, the oven was about the size of my screen, so you'll see why he needed to measure it. So he didn't come home with a bird that was too big. He then proudly came home with the bird that he'd bought, and to the top of the cupboard, he found the dusty recipe book that my grandmother had lovingly typed years earlier, and he found the recipe for the Christmas turkey. I think by now you're gathering that when I was 14, the internet had not been invented, but we had this prized family recipe and Dad was left to prepare the turkey. There was a few things we probably should have paid attention to because my father didn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. And so when he decided to take the turkey from the fridge to the garage to stuff and baste it, none of us thought that was strange. We also didn't think it was strange that he took it from the fridge to the garage numerous times over the next 3 days. Christmas morning came. Dad switched on the oven. He waited for it to heat up, and then he put it in, and he spent the next 4 hours peeking, peering, pacing, and just waiting for that ping to tell us that the turkey was done. We could not wait. He could not wait. He took out this beautifully browned bird. He put it down, and we all waited in anticipation as he began to carve. First sign that not all was well was as Dad was carving, he went, this has got quite an interesting aroma. The second sign that all was not quite as it should be was when he very generously decided to give the first cut of meat to Jasper, our family cat, who sniffed it and then made a face like he'd just smelt his own bum and left. The third sign that all was definitely not well was when my brother came dashing from the kitchen into the dining room where my sister and I were busy putting the final touches on the Christmas table. And he went, guys, you have got to, it's disgusting. But please, Dad has made so much effort. Please just eat it. Please just don't say anything. We looked at him. He was going green. We looked at him, we looked at each other, and we agreed as siblings that whatever that turkey tasted like, we were going to cover it in mash salad and we were going to get it down. We were very relieved when we heard a shriek from the kitchen and my dad saying, "This turkey is terrible. It's rotten." We rushed through. He'd opened it up. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you, there was sawdust inside the turkey. He'd taken it so many times from the fridge to the garage that the thing had rotted before we'd even put it in the oven. To say we laughed until we cried underplays what happened. We rolled on the floor. The only thing we could think to do with that foul was to throw it in the lake at the back of our house and feed it to the crabs. We had a very strange Christmas dinner that day. We had mince pies, fruit cake, some of the side vegetables, and those leftover strawberry cups and orange cream Quality Street. But it, to this day, remains the best meal never. The best meal we never tasted, but we never forgot. In 10 days' time, it will be my 23rd Christmas without my dad. And in his memory and to honor his terrible turkey, we vowed as a family never to prepare a turkey for our Christmas dinners. And so this year again, we'll have roast chicken and simple fare, but we will laugh and cheers to my dad and that terrible turkey, that disastrous dinner, but also to the fact that Christmas is a time of adventures and mishaps and things that go wrong. But my fellow Toastmasters, if you think about it, if nothing ever went wrong, you would have nothing to talk about. So embrace the things that don't go according to plan, because one day you might be telling a story about the best meal never. Cheers.